most times I'll just notice that I'm feeling anxious and I won't know what caused it. Like, how did I get there? I was feeling fine before. What happened? So then I have to retrace my steps. Let me know if anybody relates to this, but like, I have to play detective with my body and try to figure out, where did the anxiety come from? So I'll go back and then I'll be like, oh wait, maybe I was thinking about this stuff that was making me anxious. Oh yeah, that might be it. Or like, oh, maybe I was criticizing myself and putting my self-worth in other people's hands and taking their judgments as like the truth. And that was making me anxious. But I literally have to go back and figure out why I ended up feeling like that in my body. Because it's always like a delayed response for me, like a delayed reaction. Pain in comfort zone. What do you mean by that? I have general anxiety disorder, but I would say I enjoy the little joys in life more intensely than normal people. Oh, that's interesting. Do you think you might be autistic, Eliska? Is that something you considered? Because that thing you said about enjoying the little joys in life more intensely than normal people, it sounds kind of autistic coded in a way. And also, general anxiety can be related to autism as well, because the sensory input is just so intense. So, when our nervous systems as neurodivergent people get overstimulated, it happens very easily, very fast. It could happen so easily, like you could be surrounded by too many people and you get overstimulated. And that becomes anxiety in the body, because it's not like you can't keep a sense of inner peace when you're constantly being overstimulated by the people around you, or the places that you're in, or noise, light, whatever it might be that overstimulated you. And so that might be misdiagnosed as general anxiety disorder. I mean, it's not misdiagnosed. It is general anxiety disorder, but I'm just saying the underlying reason could be that. I don't know, just a thought. Good morning. You're a good thinker. I'm listening to you whilst working. Cool. Thank you. I think I might be autistic, but I don't know if an actual diagnosis would really change much for me. What are your thoughts on that? That's a good question. This was a different person, by the way, if you're watching this later. Like, this was a different person commenting than that first one. Diagnosis would really change much for me. I don't know if diagnosis would change much for anybody, because there aren't that many resources out there. Even if you're diagnosed, even if you have a therapist that knows more about autism, there's not really much they can do more than just inform you more. Like, they can try to educate you, but you can do that for yourself. You can go online and look into the diagnostic criteria, and then you can look into other people's experiences. For me, that helped the most, I think, is just going on TikTok and falling down an autism rabbit hole where I just soak in everybody's experiences and relate to everybody. I think, honestly, finding a community of people who are like you and learning from them and learning from their experiences is the best way to go, whether you get diagnosed by a professional or not, because it's expensive to get a diagnosis. It's expensive to get an assessment. It's hard to find people who specialize in adult autism. I mean, a couple of years ago, you wouldn't even be taken seriously if you talked about an adult diagnosis of autism. They would be like, oh, if you weren't diagnosed as a child, forget about it. But they also didn't know as much as they did about autism in adult females, especially. And yeah, sorry, I'm going on a rampage there. I think I probably answered that question pretty well. Okay, this is the original commenter that I was asking if they're autistic, and they answered, never thought about being autistic, but my girlfriend who works with autistic kids said that I could be autistic too. Might consider self-diagnosing. Nice, I called it. I'm getting so good. You know the gaydar, like a gay radar where you can tell somebody is gay just by looking at them? I feel like I can tell if somebody's autistic just by listening to their experiences. Yeah, look into it. You might find some tools that help you, because they're the tools that are designed to help neurotypicals with anxiety may not work for you if you're autistic. So you might find more helpful tools and information if you were to self-diagnose, or just look into it. Acceptance through understanding. Yes, I love that. I think autism may depend on time, location, and environment. I don't know what you mean by that, if you want to elaborate. Let's get back to this quote, okay? So contentment is available in each moment. Yes, if you're not in pain. Be nice to yourself. You don't need to accomplish something to be valuable. I love this one. Be nice to yourself. You don't need to accomplish something to be valuable. This is the thing we need to remember to deprogram ourselves from, a capitalistic society, because guess what? What gives you value in capitalism is how much you can accomplish and how productive you are, because it's a machine. And, we're not people in that machine. We're actually just, working cogs or robots in this huge orchestra of productivity. And it's actually kind of against human nature to put your self-worth into what you can accomplish. It's a tough one, though, because we grow up in this culture. It's all well and good to recognize that we live in a toxic culture, but if you grow up in that, it's all internalized at one point. So it's definitely a challenge to convince your brain, my value doesn't come from what I accomplish. This is something that I was just realizing yesterday. And I was thinking about how much I still put my value on what I can accomplish, which might sound kind of silly to you, because I'm not able to accomplish things that society values very much. I'm not able to be productive in the way that society values. So if I were to base my self-worth on that, I would already be down in the dumps. But I don't place my self-value on that, because I understand that I might have shortcomings, but then there are other things that I can do and other people can't. So just because I can't fit into the system and become a productive member of society doesn't mean that I don't have some kind of value. But then here's the problem with that. Then I'm putting my value on the things that I can do that maybe other people can't. So I'm still putting my self-worth into that thing of what can I accomplish, which doesn't take you out of the rat race. It just keeps you in a specialized, it keeps you in a different rat race, I guess, in a rat race with yourself. Brilliant line. Yes, brilliant. I love it. And I love the first part too. Be nice to yourself. Like, I need to tell that to myself 10 times a day just to remember it. Be nice to yourself. We're so mean to ourselves, especially when we fall short of whatever this society demands of us. I mean, sometimes I feel like if I had a visible disability, like if I, had legs that didn't work, or, I was missing an arm, if I had a visible disability, then I would feel like I would be less hard on myself. And, I wouldn't expect myself to climb up the stairs if I don't have legs. But autism and other mental, disorders or mental illnesses, it's an invisible disability. It's not something that other people can see in you most of the time, and it's not something that you can see in yourself. We're only able to recognize our shortcomings when we keep pushing and pushing ourselves to accomplish what neurotypicals are accomplishing, and we keep failing and failing and burning out. And only once you've rammed yourself into that wall, like maybe 5, 10, 20 times throughout your lifetime, only after you've reached a state of complete burnout and like accepted your failure in this society, only then can you be like, oh wait, maybe I have a disability here. Like maybe something isn't quite right. But it takes so much to get there. And that entire time growing up, trying to keep up with everybody, trying to keep up with the society, like it's a hit on the self-esteem time and time again. It's a hit to the ego. In fact, I have a lot of thoughts about the ego and autism, and how if you grow up autistic, you most likely didn't get a chance to develop a very strong ego, like a very resilient or healthy sense of self, sense of ego. I'm using ego in a positive way. Okay, what are you guys saying? From my understanding, we are in a default negative first response. We need to fight through that. We would not accept others attacking our self-worth. However, we are all guilty of not regarding value. You mean like our own value, right? You're absolutely right. We are much more defensive when it comes to other people attacking us, our self-worth, but we let ourselves do it day in and day out. Yeah. Okay, let's continue with this one, because choose whatever you desire, but know that contentment is there now and in the future, and acceptance of the moment is the only way to attain it, regardless of anything else. This one goes deep. I really like what they said here, because they're saying that the acceptance of this moment is the only way to attain contentment. And the things we do, the things we desire, the things we try to accomplish, all of these things are just like fancy ornaments that we're putting on this moment. But contentment is there regardless of if we're putting the ornament. It's saying contentment is there whether you're doing anything or not. Regardless of anything else happening, you have access to contentment in each moment. That's fucking deep. And that's the end of the quote. That's fucking deep. I really love that. I want to sit with that for a minute and really digest it, because it's so meaningful and yet so difficult to accept. Because all our lives, whenever we're not content, we keep thinking, oh, there's something wrong. I need to fix it. Oh, I need to do better, be better, buy better things, be in a different place, be with different people, do a different job, get a new career, have a new hobby. Like every time we find ourselves not having access to feeling content, we blame it on something that we're not able to achieve. And so that automatically cuts our access to feeling content. But that's not the truth. That's not the truth of it, is it? Because people can be content in crazy situations. And they might have way less than you do or I do, but they might feel content. So, and then there are people like us, in the first world countries, and having every one of our needs met, and yet we are not content. Nothing is really missing. We've just lost access to the feeling of contentment. Something's gone wrong, whether it's the stress of life compounding on you, or whether it's the choices we make that separate us from ourselves. Something's gone wrong, so we're not able to feel that contentment anymore. Somebody said, I do that with wishing I had a real house and not an apartment. And there's nothing wrong with wishing for nicer things, wishing for better things. Sometimes that also comes from our inner wisdom of like, well, I know deep within me that this is where I'm supposed to go, or deep within me that this would be, a self-loving setting for me. Maybe for you, not being in the apartment and the house would ground you more, because sometimes apartments can cut us off from the earth. You know how the earth has a magnetic field, right? And there's this thing called grounding, where people go, down on the ground level, and they'll take off their shoes, walk on the earth, walk on the beach, just to be in that, the energy field of the earth. It's not bullshit. There's actually like a scientific frequency that's associated with the earth crust. You can even look it up. There's scientific basis to that. But basically what the theory is that humans also have an energy field, and when our energy field is separated from the energy field of the earth, that can cause a lot of problems for people, because we're not designed to be separated from the earth and, live on the 20th floor of this apartment building that's made of concrete. There are a lot of things about nature and the earth that are designed to help us ground, help us feel that sense of contentment. And I don't know about you guys, but I usually feel really content when I'm in nature, no matter what I'm doing. I don't have to own a bunch of things to be able to enjoy the beach. I can just sit on the sand and enjoy the beach. And there's something so interesting about that. I often think about how much sensory input there is in nature. Like, for example, if you're sitting in your apartment, right? There's very little noise usually. There's no air. There's no wind like touching you. There's none of the nature sounds that you would usually get. And there's not a lot of smells unless you put synthetic perfumey things around you, which are actually incredibly harmful for your health, by the way. Just like to go off on a tangent, All those scented candles, scented products, perfumes, all of them have chemicals that are endocrine disruptors. They interfere with your hormonal system in your body. There's actually science to back this up. And, they give some people headaches, and some people who are sensitive will get nauseous. Like I get very nauseous when I smell those synthetic smells. But anything that has perfume in it, it's a synthetic fragrance, and it's going to mess with your endocrine system. They're endocrine disruptors. So I would highly recommend get rid of anything with a synthetic perfume around you. It's really bad for your health, and it ruins your air quality, especially those candles. If you're going to light candles indoors, you need to have some windows open because it's so bad for your lungs. But anyway, getting off of that tangent, let's go back to the beach, okay? On the beach, think about all the sensory input we get. So, we're sitting on the sand is touching your skin. That's sensory input. You can hear the waves, and the waves have this rhythm. It's this constant auditory input. There can be maybe a slight wind or the sunlight touching your skin. All of that is sensory input. There might be birds around. There might be children playing and laughing, All of this sensory input has an effect on us psychologically. And the most obvious thing it does is we're not bored. Because when you're cut off from all sensory experience like we do, we put ourselves in these boxes, then there's no input. We're incredibly bored. And then we go for entertainment, whatever form that may come in. But we don't get to just sit and experience the moment, because the moment is kind of drained of life. The moment kind of sucks. So we kind of escape the moment whenever we are entertaining ourselves with TV shows or YouTube, because the moment is not enough anymore. So that's an interesting thing to think about, because a lot of our contentment, our ability to feel content, is our ability to accept the moment as it is. But if we're so cut off from all of nature and all of the tools that were given to us by God, all the things that are there to help us, we're actually cutting ourselves off from all of that, then, it's kind of hard to feel content, especially if our physical needs are not met. Okay, let's see what you guys are talking about. Okay, there's a Turkish comment that my brain is not understanding right now, so I apologize. Yes, you're right on point. Thanks for validation. I do find that I would be much more content close to the earth. Absolutely. I don't think I'm unique in that. I think pretty much all human beings need the earth and need nature, whether we're in touch with that truth or not. Yeah. Hi, do you enjoy going live? Yeah, I think I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. I don't know how often I'm going to be doing this in the future, but for now I'm enjoying it. So let's see how far it goes. The beach is exactly like the way you describe. It's incredible to be there. You're inspiring me to go, but I'm afraid because my city is getting more dangerous. You should go. You should go. I wonder where you live. Which city? If you go during daylight, you should be fine, usually. Hi, Sadie and Pia. How are you doing? I'm doing well. People think I'm really not doing well, but I'm doing fine. Just because I'm practicing not masking. When I don't mask, this is my happy face, you know? Can you tell how happy I feel right now? This is my happy face. You're doing a great live. So soothing to watch you. I'm in New York City. Oh, I see. I see what you mean by unsafe. Well, you know, if it's any consolation, I don't feel extra safe at the beach that I live close to either, especially right now because there aren't too many people around. I feel mostly safer if there are more people, especially since I'm going to be in a bathing suit and there are just so many creepy men. I hate that. I fucking hate it. I'm just trying to get some sunlight, you know? I'm just trying to get some vitamin D. Leave me alone. I hate men. Ugh. If there weren't any men, there would be nothing for women to worry about, honestly. When are you coming to Granada? I don't even know where that is. Is that in Italy? I have no clue. I don't like to travel, so probably never. But you never know. Never say never, but probably never. I'm just going to avoid travel as much as I can for the rest of my life. No, a country. You see, I'm so sorry. I don't know geography at all. It's a country? What? I don't even know where that is. Europe, Asia, God knows. If you guys like bubble wrap, putty is very nice. By the way, this is 2 tins of putty. Pisses me off how little they put in this tin. Actually pisses me off. Crazy Errands needs to fix their shit because who in their right mind would put this much putty in this big of a tin? Fill up your tins, for fuck's sake. I have to buy 2 tins just to have enough. Make that make sense. Traveling is nice. No, it is not. Traveling is a nightmare. Traveling is a nightmare if you have heightened sensitivities. That's a whole other tangent I could go off on, how much I hate air travel. I've been on airplanes enough times in this life to never want to go on an airplane ever again. That's the price of being born somewhere that you can't live. But it's getting worse and worse, to be honest with you. I don't know what airlines are doing, but I feel like economy is getting more and more unbearable. And I don't know, back me up on this if you've traveled lately. Is it me or are they actually getting like smaller and smaller, the distance between the 2 seats? Because I remember it being much more comfortable than this. And I'm not claustrophobic, but I've been developing claustrophobia, like just being in these airplane seats. It's almost like they force you to pay for an upgrade. They force you, otherwise you're gonna suffer. That's their whole thing, isn't it? They have to make the money back that they lost during COVID. So I hate it so much. Let's get some bubble pops. Are you ready? Oh, that's a good one. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. Just wait. No! That one wasn't good. Hold on, I'm gonna do it again. That one was good. Is that too loud? Please somebody tell me if that's too loud because I can't, like I don't have headphones to know if that's too loud. No, I'm not gonna go on Google and type in Granada. I'm sorry. That's not what this life is about. Live. That's not what this life is about. Googling where countries are. No disrespect to your country. I'm just not gonna do that right now. No, it's not loud. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, I think we've played with this putty long enough. I'm gonna play with another fidget toy now because some people were curious about the tangle and I want to show that off. So we'll put this back in the tin. Cute. And we'll play with the tangle. This one is from the Tangle Gems collection. It's the purple one, obviously. Tangles make a very soothing, like a rain-like sound, in my opinion. Oh, thank you. Somebody's calling me adorable. Am I? I feel like I'm rather intimidating. Like my face, I think it's the eyebrows. Like, look at the eyebrows. I feel like I give a good like death stare. Like if I'm creeped out by somebody on the beach, right? I'll just give them one of these. And it's like, don't fuck with me vibes. It's all the eyebrows. Thank you to my ancestors, my Slavic ancestors. How do I get a girlfriend, Sadie? Oh, wow. This live stream is taking a turn. How do I get a girlfriend? First of all, are you a lesbian? Or am I talking to a male Homo sapien right now? I would love to know. How do I get a girlfriend? That's such a complicated question. I have no idea. I don't know. I guess just try to find somebody that you are attracted to and then go and try to be their friend. Oh no, my computer's gonna die. Give me 1 second. Oh no, what's happening here? I think Pete cleaned up a little. No, what the hell? This is what happens when you clean up. You don't have immediate access to your charger. No. Crisis averted. Okay, let's see where my hair is at. Okay, we're getting there. It's still wet. Feels humid, but I don't know. I think I can maybe do without the towel. Oh, this part's wet. Can you see that? Okay, I think I'm gonna take this off. I'll try to like use my body heat to dry my hair. There's a mess in there. Don't look. It's messy. Yep, I'm a lesbian. Okay, cool. So yeah, I was telling you how to get a girlfriend. Okay, so find somebody you think is cute, whether it's online or I don't know, in real life. If you go outside, it might be easier for you because I don't go outside, so I'm not able to meet people that way. But if you actually go outside and you meet somebody that you like in that context, it might actually be easier. So my advice would be try to be their friend first and see if they're gay, first and foremost, and then see if they like you. I don't know. Take them out. Take them out to dinner. Do you have somebody that you like already? That might make things easier. If you don't like anybody, that might make things hard. Oh, there's some drama going on in the chat right now. Yes, please don't visit me and try to see me, Andrew. I'm gonna say this in a nice way, but I don't like men. So yeah, this is why I don't reveal my location on my YouTube channel, because I'm actually afraid. But yeah, you're nice otherwise. Just don't want to see you in person if I can avoid it. Yeah, we can talk about... No, I'm not going to talk about it. Okay. Then how do I do that when another person isn't straight? What do you mean? What do you mean? If they're not straight, that's what you were going for. Am I wrong? Because you're a lesbian. So if they're not straight, you're already winning. Oh, how do I know that the other person isn't straight? Okay, there was a typo. Okay, how to know if the other person isn't straight? Well, you can straight up ask them. Like if you're being friendly with somebody, you can kind of just ask, so are you into girls? You can also like feel the vibes. Like if there's like a flirty vibe going, you can kind of feel it maybe. But then vibes are tricky because you can project. So you can think there's a flirty vibe when it's just coming from you, which is not good. So it's best to always ask, you know? You can be really sure, but you have to double check and triple check and be absolutely sure. So I would ask if they're gay. Ugh. My hair's too wet. Now I feel it on my neck. Hold on. I need to like put the dry part here because it's all wet. Okay. Okay, what's going on? Okay, let's go easy on Andrew, guys. I think he got it. I think he got it. Okay, so what else? I want to get deep. I don't like talking about superficial topics because, like, what's the point? You know, most of life is what you experience when you're by yourself. Because even if you're in a relationship, like a lot of that is just the experience you have within your own brain and your own psyche. So, you know, don't be so sure that being in a relationship is going to bring you more happiness. It might bring you more pleasure. It might not. And it might trigger a lot of issues. So it's like some positive always comes with equal negative, if you know what I mean. So it's that saying, right? Be careful what you wish for. It's so fucking true. Like if I was a kind of person who would get tattoos of quotes, I would probably get that tattooed on my body, but I don't want to get any words tattooed on my body, so I won't do that. But literally, like, be careful what you wish for, because there's always something, there's always a catch. There's always something negative that comes with something positive. It's just if you're willing to make that trade-off, like if you're okay with the trade-off, then, you know, you can make the wish, I guess. Somebody's saying hello to me in Turkish. Selam. Really reserved, and I was really never exposed to the world, but now I want to open my way. Like, I get it. I'm clearly kind of reserved as well. You know, if you really need some courage just drink some tequila. Like, it's liquid courage. I don't usually recommend alcohol to anybody because it destroys your organs and rots you from within. But if you really need some help to, get that courage to hit on somebody or tell somebody you like them, it's actually very helpful of a tool, socially speaking. When getting intimate, who usually initiates the intimacy? Is the older person or younger person? I need advice since I'm in an age gap relationship. I don't think there's a rule. I think whoever wants to initiate the intimacy can initiate the intimacy. I feel like if there's a rule where only the older person initiates or only the younger person initiates, maybe there's something weird about that relationship. Sounds like kind of a weird power dynamic situation, unless you're into that sort of thing and it's like a fetish. But I think in any healthy, like, balanced partnership, even if it's a straight one, I think whoever wants to initiate should initiate. Okay, so this person saying asking is hard, like talking to them is too damn hard. Yeah, I think you need some alcohol. I think some tequila will help loosen you up and get those words rolling out of your mouth, because, that alcohol just stops all your inhibitions, and it might help you, honestly, if it's your first time, or like you said, you've been reserved and not exposed to the world. I think it might help you. Yeah. I don't know about that. Somebody's saying usually there's one as the aggressor, but it's both. Maybe I'm just a switch and that's why I don't relate to that, but I feel like kind of both people have to be in the mood. Both people have to initiate. Okay. The sensory input is so true for me. I literally feel myself calm down in nature, in a forest or by the lake. Yeah. You see, I called it. I think you're autistic, because this is for autistic people. I think this is true for everybody. I'm going to say that. For neurotypicals too, it's so important. But for autistics, for people who have like amplified sensory abilities, I guess, it's such a difference. It's such a stark difference between the city sensory input and nature. I find for me, the city can be almost painful in terms of sensory experiences. And it's something that I've learned to put up with, but it never stops being painful. And I never stop wishing to live in a quieter place or live in a more naturey place. So yeah, whenever I can, I will put myself in nature. Although nature can also be overwhelming if it's windy. If it's too windy, if it's too cold, if it's too hot, it's going to be sensory overwhelm. But if it's not windy and it's like a palatable temperature, then it's perfect. It's the best. I kind of wish I could, make more videos outside, but I can't because of the wind and it just ruins the audio. So we have to stay in the box, but that's okay. The thing I love about tangles is it's so versatile. Like, you can play with it just as a audio kind of stem, like just this. And that's very satisfying, especially if your tangle is well lubricated and not squeaky at all. A trick that I use, a tip and trick. If your tangle starts getting squeaky in one of these joints, because you see they're like these little plastic joints that are attaching to each other. So if those joints get squeaky, you can take them apart, put some Vaseline on the tips, and put them back together. And that Vaseline is a very good lubricant for your tangles. And then you can roll it up. This is another way that I love to use these. We just roll it up, and you have to get it just right, because sometimes you see it doesn't work. Sometimes it doesn't close. So you have to make sure to get it just right. Just right so it closes. You see? And then what I like to do is this. Oh no, I messed it up. Did you see that? Before I messed it up, did you see it? You should do a sex Q&A, not just talk about the subject, but to give more insight on the topic. No pressure, just a suggestion. I don't know how to take this comment. If the commenter is a female, I'll think about it. If the commenter, Nicholas, which I'm suspecting is a male, then I probably won't do that. I'm sorry, men are just so fucking creepy. I don't want to give people too many images or ideas. I don't know, it's such a difficult thing. Like, I love being open about things. Like, I love discussing things. I think it helps people to be open about certain things and topics that might be considered taboo by society. But at the same time, like, it gives people too much access, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Somebody's saying, right, boys, stop. You know what? It's not their fault. I know it's not their fault. It's the testosterone. They're just run by testosterone. You know, they're disabled. It's a disability, truly, guys. We have to have compassion for the boys. I'm a male, lol. I'm gay. Just my first time in a relationship with being openly gay. Oh, you see, I don't know if I can trust you with that. I feel like you could easily lie about that, but if you are gay, I like you better. But then, why would you ask about the subject of sex? Something is not mathing. The math is not mathing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but look, can you blame me? I'm defensive. I'm defensive against males because they just, you know, being run by testosterone, they're naturally not very good at boundaries. It seems to be a running theme. Boundaries is an issue for the male species. And until they learn what boundaries are, we kind of have to be defensive, don't we? Anyway, let's change the subject because it's fucking depressing. You see, you don't have that problem with lesbians, though. Lesbians are attracted to females, and yet they can respect their boundaries. People are interrogating Nicholas. I feel bad if you're actually gay. Why are you so good with the words for situations? You know, I really get amused. Me? My words are good. Thank you. I don't know. English is not my first language, you know. But it's my only language now. Isn't that crazy? I think I gave myself some amnesia or something because I literally don't remember the language that I was born and raised with enough to speak with it. That's fucking crazy. I definitely gave myself a lobotomy somehow, which was necessary, but it's just crazy to me that I learned English. I started learning English in the 3rd grade, pretty much. So how old was I? Like 10, 11? How old are you in 3rd grade? I don't know. Yep, your words are good. The way you can express yourself in so much logical way. Sometimes I feel like you're right. This is the feeling that I wanted to tell people. Oh, thank you for the compliment. We're down to our last fidget toy that I brought to the couch. I have more in my room, but I only brought these 3. This is the Snitch from Harry Potter, the fidget spinner that I got from Amazon. Not sponsored. But what I like about this is the shape. Because usually fidget spinners are not this shape. And it's also very quiet. Can you hear it? It's so quiet. Nicholas is back. Okay, I get it. I mean, I've been bullied my whole life from being different, and I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable asking my question at the end of the day. I'm out and proud. Well, I'm glad you're out and proud, Nicholas. And it's okay. Apology accepted. Oh, okay. Somebody's leaving. Bye, Sadie. Nice talking with you. Going to dinner. Thank you for being you to me. Have a good dinner. You know, speaking about contentment, that's like the theme of this live stream. I feel like, you know, our access to feeling content, not necessarily happy, not necessarily joyful or excited, because those are more advanced, you know, those are more difficult to access. But being content, you can kind of access that regardless of some other factors in your life. Like you can access that even if you're by yourself. You know, you can access that pretty much all the time, unless you're actively, like I said, stressed or in pain or anxious or depressed. So I guess it's not that easy, is it? But, you know, it's a practice. Like it's a practiced skill. But I just love the concept of not tying your self-worth into what you can accomplish in this world. And your value coming from this, like, just your existence is the value. Because I find myself performing for, like, performing to be of value to people. That was my life growing up. I was constantly performing to be of value, to be of importance to somebody in my life. Whether that's my parents or the school I was going to or my classmates or whatever. I feel that this feeling won't last though. There are these moments of total acceptance, this contentment, but then you become small again. Is it possible to stay in this feeling? It's a really good question. You know, I feel like it is possible to stay in this feeling, but the real question is, what makes you feel small? Because if it's something in your subconscious that's like tormenting you and making you feel small, then, you're going to be paddling against the current to just feel content. Like if there's a part of you that hates yourself, for example, and is constantly putting you down and insulting you or pushing you in this way or that, then it's really like fighting against the current just to feel content, just to have those moments of relief. So it's all about, I guess, it's all about like getting rid of those things that make us hate ourselves, and not changing yourself to make yourself more lovable. No, but changing the beliefs that are convincing you that you're not lovable and that you're not okay the way you are. It's something I'm struggling with too, so I can relate to that. Okay, it's mostly about others, people who surround. They interrupt this peace. Well, that's true. Depending on the people, toxic people are very much a reality in this time space. Toxic people, especially if you're kind of forced to reside in the same space with them, or I guess in the same workplace or whatever. Like if you're forced to interact with toxic people, that can definitely take away from your inner peace. But then it's like, I guess the work would be the boundaries, trying to work on boundaries. And that's a whole other topic that, I mean, I can go into it a little bit if you'd like, but yeah, especially if you grew up in like an enmeshment household where people didn't have clear boundaries, where maybe your parents' pain was your pain and your pain was their pain, and like it was all this jumbled up mess, then we don't get to develop that healthy sense of separation from others, and then boundaries become even harder when you're older because your default state is to essentially be a people pleaser. Let's see. Contentment is a great baseline. Happy comes in bursts. If we were happy all the time, like it's a mania, right? That doesn't include high energy. It's a gift of being naturally enthusiastic. Yeah, it's good to make the differentiation between content and happy, because contentment is not the same as happy. I feel like content is kind of, like you said, a baseline. Contentment is more like peace, right? It's that calm, that quiet, that like nothing is bothering me kind of feeling. But happy is definitely more manic. If you were to be happy all the time, I think it would be a problem for your body to maintain that level of alertness and that level of, because excitement is also stressful for the body. I once heard that like excitement and anxiety are very similar when it comes to the physical manifestation of it in terms of hormones and stuff. So, yeah. If I get too excited, I can't sleep. And if I get too anxious, I can't sleep. So, yeah, they're very similar. And it's not healthy to be always like in that state. I'm always feeling depressed. I don't know what's holding me back, but I've dealt with some deep shit. Like one of my friends who died in high school and my parents getting divorced. I feel you. Well, there might just be some trauma that's still, in your body from all the shit you had to experience. It might not be like, I don't think of it as holding you back though. It's just what you've had to go through and probably what you're still going through as a result of that trauma. A lot of people actually have that, but they don't recognize or talk about it. They just stay busy and try to escape that feeling because maybe they feel like if they stop, then all that stuff from the past is going to catch up with them and they're going to be just in so much deep shit, But you can't run away from it because it's always going to catch up with you. And, it comes in waves, at least grief. For me, I can tell you that grief comes in waves. And when the wave comes, if you can kind of sit with it and give yourself the compassion to go there and be sad, I think it processes it faster than if you're trying to escape it all the time. So, but it's hard, obviously, because it doesn't feel good. But I feel like that's when mushrooms can be helpful because they help you process these emotions, whether you like it or not, If you're pushing anything down or like not going through certain emotions, they might get stuck in your system and then get you feeling stuck. So if you feel stuck and like you can't move through things and you need some help bringing up those emotions to be felt and expressed, like mushrooms are really good for that. Even melancholy can be a way of being content for me. Yes, me too. I love being sad. I love it. I love crying. I'm not saying that to be like silly. I actually like crying. It feels good, It feels good to have that kind of emotional like upheaval and then release. It feels cathartic in a way, and then you can feel that contentment right after, even during the storm and crying. Sometimes I feel that contentment because it's like, I feel like contentment is almost synonymous as feeling whole or like feeling authentically yourself, feeling like your natural self. That could be another way to describe contentment. Like you don't have to feel happy to feel whole and like you're being your authentic self, right? Let me know if anybody agrees with that. Oh, you're sweet. But yeah, it's a process, and there's no shortcut. Anybody who's trying to say there's a shortcut is trying to sell you something. It's a lifelong thing, honestly. And the more trauma and the more shit you've been through, the harder it is. But I guess that's the challenge. And literally everybody is on the same boat, if that makes you feel better. I mean, literally everybody. And if somebody looks especially happy, those are usually the people who are in the deepest shit. And they might be faking it. Maybe you wouldn't be able to tell unless you knew them up close and personal, but they might be faking it. I cried last week. Just having a shoulder to cry on felt like I needed someone to be there, in which we need a friend or family member to be there for us when we're in pain. Oh, it does help. It does help having somebody there. I'm not going to say it doesn't, especially if that person really cares about you, understands where you're coming from, can really like be there and be present with you. It can feel good to have somebody. For some of us, it doesn't actually feel good to have somebody because it's hard to find somebody like that. A lot of people, like when you break down around them, they try to make you feel better right away. And that usually hurts more because it's giving the message of like, okay, I need you to change how you feel right now. I need to make you feel better. I need you to change. And that is just like not giving you the space to exist or asking you to change is like so painful. That's why most of the times when I'm crying, I just want to be alone because I don't want to have to deal with anybody else's reactions to my pain. Like, I just want to be with my pain. Especially like I said, if you're around these people who don't fully understand what it means to just be present and hold space when somebody's going through that kind of pain, yeah, then it's just a nuisance. Like, I'd rather be alone, no? I've got to go to a meeting. However, it's been great. I could listen to you anytime. Oh, so sweet. Take care. Have a good meeting. You can always catch up with it later. I post them on my channel afterwards. So, ow, my legs are cramping up. I have to like sit in a different way. You know, I'm going to get an office chair because sitting on a couch for this long is not good for my circulation. Especially with this couch because it's like so low to the ground. Let me sit on a pillow. That's better. Yeah, just like I'm going to get a nice swivelly chair that I can sit on and be comfortable. I'm excited for that. It's still wet, guys. It's still wet. Can you see? Maybe it looks dry in the front, but this back part, whatever looks curly is wet. It's not curly. It's just wet. I have straight hair. It's just a sensory nightmare. This is why I could never shower every day because like I'm not going to spend like half of every day trying to dry my hair, you know? I just really have a bone to pick with that one person who commented that I should wash my hair every day. I have like a personal vendetta against that person. Like, hello, I can't wash this shit every day. Oh, guess somebody's home. Hold on, let me tell them that I'm live. Hold on, I'm gonna mute you guys because I'm gonna scream. Okay. I didn't want my screaming, like if in case anybody's falling asleep listening to this, I don't want them to be woken up by my screaming.
In case I come in and I say something improper.
Yeah, I
thank you. You never know. Hello, everyone.
How was the gym?
It was good. Yeah, tomorrow I have to go again. Yeah. So, just a second.
Yeah, stay hydrated.
Yeah. I should bring a bottle of water with me instead.
Okay, somebody commented. I'm going to read it, okay? And see if you want to respond as well.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to share something.
Sure.
Okay. I've said in my life, I hate happy people. I don't really mean it, but in certain cases, I can't help it. I can be pretty silly if I'm in a happy mood, but my base is a non-smile. Me too. Absolutely. Because happy people can be so annoying sometimes.
So, am I annoying? Sometimes.
Look, you're sweet, okay? At least you're not faking it.
Okay.
Because sometimes you're sad too. You're not always happy.
Yeah, it's true.
Like sometimes you're just neutral. You're not overly happy person. You're just more silly than me.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a sad clown.
I'm a sad clown. When did you start your live stream?
An hour and a half ago. Even if you're sad, you know what they say, fake it till you make it. Absolutely not. I hate that saying. Fake it till you make it doesn't work for neurodivergent people. I'm sorry. Nope. Do not fake it. Fake it till you burn out. It should be the appropriate saying for the neurodivergent folk. We're back to the putty.
So I leave you.
What do you think about that? Fake it till you make it.
For some people, it might work, but not for everyone because, I mean,
does it work for you?
No, it doesn't. I cannot also fake it until I make it because I tend, like in that way, I tend to suppress something, and suppressing is not good either because then sooner or later it will come out with the strength of a fast train in your face, you know. But I see that some people actually, you know, they can do it. It depends also on situation. So
if you fake it, then you have to play that role really well. Yeah. I can't play any role. I can't play any role very well without burning out. The only way not to burn out is be yourself. And I think if you're surrounded by people who don't let you be yourself, then you're going to burn out around them a lot. And you're going to feel drained, right?
Yeah.
Like whenever you have to fake around a certain person, you just get burned out.
You do. There's so much energy into it.
Somebody said it's called high functioning depression. Wait. You mean like faking it really well and playing a role? High functioning depression. That's actually quite accurate.
I like that.
At work, you can't let your emotions show in order to be professional. Work is different, though. I think you can... Well, this is why it's hard for autistic people to work. But for neurotypicals, I think they can compartmentalize more in work. I don't know. You tell me. You were in a professional setting for like 15 years.
Yeah, but it was almost like a family because it was just 6 at most employees in the same building. So it became almost like a family. And believe me, everyone was Italian, of Italian descent. So it was very emotional environment most of the time.
That's
no faking. No, not at all.
Well, that's really nice.
It was nice. It was nice. That side I really liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a Teal Swan video about authenticity. She also talks about this same thing. I probably watched that video, but a long time ago, so I don't remember. But yeah. Authenticity is the key to contentment. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And it's also hard because if you grew up around family where you had to fake it, sometimes you can lose touch with your own sense of self. Like, you won't even know who you are when you get out of that situation, and then you have to figure it out.
Yeah. Or now that I think about it, that's why fake it until I make it doesn't apply to me, because around my family when I was young, I wasn't faking it, I was hiding mostly. So I wasn't faking an emotion, but I was hiding emotion. So I was quite neutral. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what they're saying. It depends on the type of work field, because my restaurant I work at, we care about each other like we're a family when it comes to emotions and caring about others. That's nice.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any experience with that in terms of working, but it sounds really toxic if you have to fake it all the time. It sounds extremely draining and difficult. I don't know. I guess I was faking it at school, but I wasn't faking it actually. I was pretty authentic at school, and people were kind of scared of me a little bit because my, serious face was so active that I think I was more intimidating than I wanted to be. But I didn't have friends. So you have a cost to not faking it.
Yeah.
But it was the only way I could actually just focus on what I need to be doing. So, I mean, you don't need to be overly emotional all the time to be your true self, right? You can, well, depends though. If you have a meltdown, then you have a meltdown. There's not much you can do about that, but okay. What about faking it for your family? What about it?
This is where it all starts, actually.
The pattern?
Yeah.
True.
If it does start, it starts with your family. If it starts.
It's very difficult to break out of that conditioning if you had to fake with your family growing up, for sure.
Right.
You're out of focus a little bit.
I'm gonna go. I'll leave you with your live stream.
No.
I have to drink more.
All right, go.
Okay, bye.
Well, I think I'll end it pretty soon if you want to hang out, but I'm gonna, just
do.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Usually I do 2 hours, so I want to get to 2 hours, so just like 25 more minutes.
Yeah, it's fine.
You good with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the other room. It's hot.
Yeah. Well, my hair was wet, so I had to warm it up.
Oh, that's why it's hot.
Yeah, but you can turn it down. You can bring it down to 20.
The other room. Just make sure.
Solar eclipse on the 8th. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I skipped a comment. Well, if I'm in a bad mood, I do have to hide it when I'm at my jobs in the past. I mean, real sad or annoyed. Yeah, that makes sense. Or I guess you could go to the bathroom and cry it out and then wipe your tears and come back out. That's what I used to do at school, actually. When I would get really overwhelmed, I would go to the bathroom and cry. Well, not when I was really young. When I was really young, I would just cry in the classroom. I'm not saying I fake my emotions, but I also grew up not having very much friends. I was in special needs classes, and so I had to work on proving others that doubt me. Yeah, that's where things start becoming rough, I think. When you have to prove yourself. It's almost like you have to prove your own self-worth in order to make friends, and that's just it's exhausting, isn't it? It's not something you can actually keep up with for the rest of your life. You can do it maybe for a couple months, but then you're going to get tired of it, because if they don't like you for just being you, being your authentic self, if your authentic self is not enough for them, or it's like an inconvenience for them, then they don't really like you, and they're not going to stick around once you stop trying, honestly. It's kind of the sad truth about friendships, is if they're not friends for you for the right reasons, then they're not your friends, really. Solar eclipse in Aries means finding the beat of your own drum, finding yourself and what you want to do. I love that. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know that. I knew there was a solar eclipse happening, but I didn't know what it meant. Finding the beat of your own drum, finding yourself and what you want to do. Well, I think what I want to do is not have to do anything to feel my own self-worth, because I'm tired of being in this like toxic loop of having to perform my way into, people valuing me. Yeah, I'm tired of being the monkey, like dance monkey, dance, just like perform monkey, perform, because that's where your self-worth is coming from, because that's where people are giving you value. I'm done with that shit. That shit is tired and old. Your worth, your inherent value just comes from the fact that you exist. Because if you were to just stop existing, if you were to just die tomorrow, it would affect so many people that you would be surprised how many people would actually miss you. So you have that inherent value. You have that just by virtue of you existing. And the fact that we tie our value and self-worth into what we're able to do, what we're able to accomplish, like how we're able to show up in the world, is so toxic. Because then, as long as you don't perform to a certain level, then you're going to feel crappy about yourself, or if you're doing well, and then you have a mental breakdown, then your self-worth goes down with your breakdown. Like, there's no way to keep that consistent base of feeling content. So I love your honesty and the way you're blunt. I'm happy you're just accepting yourself. You're a doll. Strong at the same time. Serious is good. Thank you. The blunt thing is the autism, just so you know. It's something I was masking a lot in the beginning because I was afraid of offending people, but I'm very blunt. It kind of rubs people the wrong way sometimes, depending on the people. Astrology don't mean anything. Please don't waste time with it. That's not true. Astrology is amazing. Astrology means as much as you want it to mean, honestly. Like, astrology and religion, I feel like, are at the same level of usefulness for people. So don't knock it till you try it. If you can't see your own self-worth and respect your own boundaries, no one else will. Yes, absolutely. And that's what I'm working on. That's my resolution for this year. My spring equinox resolution. Because exactly, if you don't see your own self-worth and respect your own boundaries, no one else will. Absolutely. And if you keep, getting stuck with this belief system of my self-worth is tied to what I can achieve, then you'll never see your own self-worth, or you'll never feel it. As soon as you get off the wheel, as soon as you get off the race, your sense of self just dissolves. And it's terrible. It's a terrible way to live. Very unstable way to have self-worth. And some people can make their self-worth about what they are in relationship to other people. Like, oh, I have self-worth because I can do this, this, and that for this person that I'm in a relationship with. And again, that's such an unstable resource for self-worth, because the people that you're giving to, or the people that you're in a relationship, might just, decide to end it one day, and then your self-worth just gets demolished because that other person is not accepting your love or what you're giving to them. So I'm also the same person who always wants to console people when they're down emotionally, depending on if they need to be consoled or want personal space, but it breaks my heart. Yeah. I know. It's hard to ow, sorry. It's hard to just learn to be there for a person without trying to fix them. But yeah, that's sweet of you. Hello, there's a Turkish person. Yeah. Lack of self-worth is a real plague of our times, I think. And if you think the high achieving, full of themselves, confident looking people have high self-esteem, just think again, because a lot of them are just faking it and overcompensating for what they actually lack in their own, within them. Because even if you're doing everything right by the book, if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. It's something you have to it's something you have to work on, I think. Even if you're high achieving, high, I don't know. Even if you're high functioning by today's standards, you have to kind of feel it and not make it depend on those outside things that you do. How do you feel with sidereal astrology? Sometimes it changes our signs. It's interesting. It's supposed to be where the planets are in the now when you were born. I don't know what that means. I'm not very fluent in astrology, so I don't know what that means, but if you want to explain it, you can feel free. Okay, I'm getting hot, which means my hair is drying, so that's good. I need to lower this though. Just a second. No. Okay, I did it. Now I feel kind of tired, so I think I'm going to end the live stream pretty soon. I don't know if we'll make it to 2 hours. I kind of worked out this morning, so now I'm getting tired from talking. Let me know if you relate to that. Talking can be exhausting. Maybe we'll just be quiet and, have some ASMR time. Getting a heat stroke. I mean, I'm pretty much done with what I wanted to talk about, so unless you guys have some questions for me, I think I'm gonna go pretty soon. What I do know is that the current transiting north node is in Aries and the south node is in Libra, which means a lot of possible breakups and people going their own way this year. Interesting. I think we made it through that hump, me and P. our testing of our relationship happened like last year pretty much. So I think we're going to be good this year. We've reached a stable place. See you next time. See you. Ooh, that was a good pop. I love it when I get a good bubble pop. But that doesn't necessarily mean actual breakups. It could just mean finding yourself and being independent within a relationship. I like that. Maybe that is happening already. So that sounds pretty accurate. Well, I guess I can kind of expose myself a little bit because I talked more on the general, but I can talk about myself, and because I was tying a lot of my self-worth into this channel and how well this channel is doing. But unfortunately, with the changes that are happening with the channel is kind of declining as a natural result of it. Not because of anyone, but just like naturally what's happening. And I recognized like how much of my self-worth was kind of depending on getting views or, you know, getting good comments or things like that. And I kind of hated that about myself. When I recognized that, I was like, that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good, because then you're like at the mercy of other people and their opinions and their, you know, like it's not actually within my control how people perceive me and like how many people feel like watching this channel. None of that is in my control. So if I'm basing my self-worth on that, I'm gonna have a rough time. And I was having a rough time. So I was like, gotta take my power back. You know what I'm saying? Can't depend on that. That's too fleeting. That's like none of that is permanent. Even how people perceive you is just so arbitrary, because they might be perceiving you through 10 lenses that they have in front of their face, and they're not even perceiving you accurately, because they can't. It's so rare for somebody to be able to perceive you accurately. So and if you keep like feeling this compulsive urge to work on yourself and to better yourself, to make other people perceive you better, then that's also a restless cycle and a restless feeling, because you're not being true to yourself. You're just trying to live up to other people's expectations of you. And it's not, you can't keep up with that for very long. You're going to get burned out. And then those people are going to be disappointed with you, because, you know, they were there for the self-improvement version of you. You might lose some followers at first, but you've gained new ones. I think this is a positive development, because at least now you're attracting people who want to watch your content for you. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me of that. That's very true. And I think part of the reason why like it triggered me so much when I started initially, you know, seeing the channel decline and losing followers and all of that, was like, I have this inherent feeling that people don't like me. And I think it has to do with growing up undiagnosed and autistic, and people, you know, not liking you for that. It's just like when people don't like you for something that you can't change about yourself, it really does some damage to your self-worth. So I've been trying to understand myself and accept myself so that I don't get so triggered when other people don't like me. It's a journey. It's not a short one. It's a journey. So you feel really sad. Maybe you should get professional help from a psychiatrist. If your ADHD neurostimulants may help with depression also. I don't feel sad. I think you missed the point. I've been feeling like more contentment. I feel like I've come such a long way. You guys don't even know how bad it was when I first, at the beginning of this channel. You have no idea. Like, and every year has been gradually getting better, because that's what recovering from trauma is. It's like a really slow process of healing. So today, compared to that, I'm doing miles better. I'm doing so much better. I'm way more content on average than I ever was. So I think people have this misconception about sadness, because sadness doesn't go away when you're finding yourself and your inner peace and your authentic self. Sadness doesn't go away. Sadness stays with you. It's your best friend. It comes and goes. It gives you messages. Like, it helps you release emotions, just like happiness. Happiness doesn't go away. And when you're actually like facing the issues that come up for you, it's not that you're sad all the time. It's that you're actually bringing light to those subjects so you can have more contentment and more peace and, more self-compassion. So it's not that ignorance is bliss. I don't know what you mean by that. Psychiatrists also are very unhelpful. It's so hard. It's so hard to find a psychiatrist that can actually help you. And I feel like you pretty much have to be rich to reach that kind of help. That kind of help is not accessible to people who can't afford it. And even if you can afford it, you might not find, the person who is specialized and able to help you. So I don't know, telling somebody to go see a psychiatrist to me is very unhelpful, because I've seen psychiatrists and they were so more than useless. I've even called suicide hotlines more than one time in the past, not anytime recently, but I've tried them, to see like if they can help, and they don't help. I'm in the 4th grade of uni now. I'm struggling with the not successful feeling and the fear of an uncertain future. And after every exam that didn't go well, I feel like I'm not worth anything. You see, that breaks my heart just reading that. I thought I was doing fine, but this situation triggered me a lot. I'm so sorry you're feeling this way. This is so fucked up that we live in this society that makes us feel this way just because we're not being successful. Success doesn't mean fuck all. Like university, right? How well you do in exams, it means fuck all. It means nothing about you, And the fact that people make you think that it means something about you, that's just evil. But yeah, it's normal that it triggered you, especially if you were doing well before, and then because university is harder, and then maybe you were doing better in high school, and now university you're not being successful, and you can feel like shit. But this can apply to anything. Anytime you feel like you're falling short of the societal ideal, your self-worth can take a hit, because we're programmed from birth to, hang our own value to these arbitrary things. Like for me, for the longest time, I'm still to this day struggling with this. For the longest time, my self-worth was attached to my weight, how much I weigh, how little I weigh. I cannot tell you the years I've wasted feeling like shit every time I gain weight, feeling like a failure, feeling like I'm not worth anything. As a child, I was an overweight child, so just thinking about this little chubby kid feeling so small and so worthless just because she looks different than the people around her. It's heartbreaking to think back on. And what's even more heartbreaking is that it's such a deep program. Like, it's so deep that to undo that is something I'm still working on at 28 years old. Like, I'm 28, about to turn 29 fucking years old. I'm turning 29 in May. And this shit is still haunting me. So, be patient with yourself. This shit runs deep. But it's not true. Just keep reminding yourself that it is not true. Not being successful has nothing to do with your self-worth, with your worth, sorry. I agree. Healing is learning to feel all of your emotions as they come, rather than running away from them and shaming yourself for being human. Exactly. Healing is learning to feel all of your emotions as they come. That's so good. I love that. Yeah. Isn't it crazy how common it is that we shame ourselves for being human? Crazy. Crazy. It's a tough world that we're living in. Y'all, it's a toxic freaking world. If you're looking for a new book to read, I would highly recommend this book called The Myth of Normal. And then the subtitle reads something like Recognizing and Learning to Heal from a Toxic Culture. Anyway, The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate. Highly recommend this book. And it talks so much about the toxic culture and how it, affects not just our mental health, but our physical health. And it's fascinating to see the parallels of how sick we're becoming as a society, not just mentally, but physically too. It's pretty chilling. Yeah. I need to go and read that book again because I always forget. I have it here. Well, we've made it to 2 hours, and I think I'm gonna go now. So thank you so much for joining me for this stream. It'll go up on my channel, so if you missed part of it, you can, go back and watch it. And yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you for your comments. It's been really, really nice getting to talk to some of you and Wow, that last comment, I can't get over it. It's so good. Like, healing is learning to feel all your emotions as they come up, rather than running away from them and shaming yourself for being human. That's so fucking good. Okay, we're gonna end on that note. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time, whenever that might be.